Good evening, Musky enjoyers. I hope you're doing alright, because it's time for 48-hour analysis. Basically, we're going to go ahead and take a look at all the Easter skins that came out recently, and we're just going to keep track of their progress. Well, let me just address that I didn't do a 24 hours of sales tweet. It was Easter, it didn't have a lot of attention, people weren't exactly super crazy for them, I just wasn't bothered, to be honest. Sorry about that if you're hoping for something like that, but I'll be honest with you, even after 2 days, so what we see here is a screenshot for the first 48 hours of sales. I couldn't really do a video earlier, it was a bit awkward, but don't worry. In short, this is the actual sales for the better selling skins, I should say. So you got 8 there, and of course 2 at the bottom down there somewhere. But the point is that they're not really selling that much. That's the main point. So as I said, when I did my Rustore rotation and my predictions video, perhaps maybe some of these skins could work out quite alright in the future, purely based on the fact that they didn't sell that much. Maybe. But I'll be honest with you, I don't expect very positive things. Now, of course, if you watch my videos, the only thing I was really leaning towards that looked like it was going to do quite alright was the hammer. And at the moment, looking at these sales, it's the only thing that's going to look like it's going to probably even reach about 15,000 sales, which should be alright for that. But for everything else here, it's not super great. But we will go through all the skins. We will just go see their progress based on sales. However, we're not just going to talk about these skins. I also want to discuss potentially maybe looking for potential opportunities. What am I talking about? Well, as you are probably very well aware at the moment, prices for Rust skins have gone down. But when prices are potentially at their lowest point, maybe it's a good time to probably jump in and look around for some potential nice things to invest into. So we'll do just that. We'll discuss some things. We'll also look at the likes of the progress of the hats and, of course, the X-Suit, which returned. Have they retained their value, or has it gone back down again? We'll talk about that. So let's jump in. Let's go ahead and take a look at the sales right now. So it is a good few hours after 2 days. But from what we can see here, across the board, these skins have not really sold that much, all right? And I don't expect many of them to potentially even reach 10,000 sales. So that is a little bit interesting, but let's go through these skins one by one real quick, and then, we could discuss, oh, maybe it might work all right, maybe it won't, but let's just jump in. So, Easter Chick Hammer, that was the one skin that I was actually like, thumbs up approving of. I thought this is going to be perfectly fine. So, number one, it's our first marketable hammer skin that we've had for 2 years, aka it's the first hammer skin we've had in a Rust store for 2 years. Yes, we've had Twitch drops, I know, I'm well aware, but one thing I have to point out is because we have not seen any hammer skins in a Rust store for such a long time, all of the other hammer skins have actually gone up in price ever so nicely. As you can see, they're all in the green. It is a bit weird how something we're always using never got skins for the past 2 years. It is a bit odd, but, well, we've got a goofy little Easter Chick hammer right here. And, well, I'll be honest with you, don't you just want to smack his head against some walls? Well, at the end of the day, goofy, silly, it doesn't glow in the dark, but maybe people would still like it quite a lot. And at the end of the day, with the likes of the Nightlight, I'm pretty sure a bright yellow hammer is still going to be perfectly noticeable at night time. I'm pretty sure it's going to be okay. So, overall, I could imagine this is going to do quite alright. Will it retain its $2 price? Well, as we lead into the likes of the summertime, I do think it will actually do quite alright. I think it will retain its value, and I think this is going to probably barely reach 15,000 sales. Now, after a good few hours, this has only done an extra, like, 500 sales. That's not a lot, and I imagine it's going to only slow down even more. This might barely reach 15,000 sales. So of course, keep an eye on this. We will discuss our prices that we might want to offer for all of these skins when we do the Abnormal Barter video, which will take place in a few days' time. But I'm actually thinking I might want to buy some of these still. Like, it really isn't selling that much. And I don't expect any more hammer skins to be in Rust stores anytime soon. Yes, people try, and have tried in the past, but it's only after 2 years that we've finally seen a hammer skin finally being accepted into a Rust store. So maybe that's going to have a nice, maybe that's a nice positive for it. But you never know. Maybe Facepunch are like, maybe we should start accepting more hammer skins from now on. Who knows? We don't know how they think. It's always strange to us. So at the moment, I'm still looking at that with interest. But will it go up in price that much? That's the next question. And I can't help but assume probably not like an insane price. So of course, the main reason why I brought up the summer is because every single year we tend to go through a normal routine. At the very beginning of the year, we'll have a lot of people playing, we just had Christmas, and people still have some time off. And, well, during that time off in the lead up to the end of December and whatnot, plenty of people have been playing Rust. And then, of course, the January Force Wipe, there will be a ton. So, as the next months roll in, you start to see a bit of a decline. But once we hit around May time, that's where we start to see the likes of kids having summer vacation, apparently in America. And then over the course of the next few months, we see some very good numbers. And that would imply potentially we'll see some increase in demand for skins and, of course, increase in prices. Now, of course, don't forget, during around the June, July time, we also had the summer sale. Maybe some people will be buying Rust for the first time. Maybe, possibly. So, yeah, I can't help but assume we can expect better prices as time goes on from here and now. And as I said, this is why you might want to consider looking around for some potential investments. But the main point is, if this skin right here doesn't sell that much, and we don't see any more hammer skins, I can't help but think it's going to do all right. Even if it goes up to $2.50, I mean, it's still profit, but maybe that might go up even higher. The only negative thing I can say about it is it doesn't glow in the dark, but does it really need to nowadays with the likes of Nightlight? So I'm sitting here and I just want to wait a little bit longer. And if I look at that on Wednesday night and it's only done about 12,000 sales, I think I'll contribute to adding an extra 100 or so. And well, we'll see. So as of now, I'm curious, but I still want to wait it out a bit. I want to see how many sales have happened by Wednesday. So, and hopefully this will improve in the future, but we have gone through this before. So do you remember the Easter chick door? All right. When we saw this last year, we thought, oh yeah, that's goofy, that's silly. People probably appreciate it. And initially they did. All right. So come on, show you USD. So right now this is just over $1, but then again, oh, that's 20 there. What are you doing? Anyway, so look at the history. And initially, yeah, it's doing all right. It's doing very good. At one point, this was selling for almost $3. But then the autumn-fall seasonal dip happens. It goes down really hard. And then post-Christmas happens. Not much really happened. And then since then, it's just never really done well. But just to point out, that summertime, it was doing good. And then before, and then just after, oh dear. So again, maybe you might want to buy some so you can purely sell for the, during the likes of the summertime. So it's to consider. But for now, I just want to wait it out just a few more days, see how many sales have happened, then make a decision. So I'll move on from here. Easter Neon Large Box. So this is a continuation of the storages that we've seen from the likes of Mr. Epic, but I do want to bring this up. Last year with the small box, for some strange reason, initially, for the first month or two, it was actually in the positive. Now, if only we could get it to load up. Thanks, Steam, you're doing so good at the moment. Yes, if you've been wondering, hey, is something wrong with Steam at the moment? Is the Steam market laggy, slow, not very responsive? Yes, I'm seeing that all the time at the moment. Will they improve it and fix it? Probably not, no. Anyway, moving on to the likes of this. So, what did we see with last year? Initially, it was actually doing quite all right, but then it went down. Much like the door that we just saw a second ago. Whilst it was doing all right initially, once we had the autumn fall seasonal dip, it goes down. It did go up a fair bit for post-Christmas, and it just went down. But then again, looking at the state of this recently, it has been rising up. Maybe because of Easter, maybe because we had a continuation. Anyway, we have to look at this in a different way, because this is a large box. But I just want to quickly go back over to here again real quickly. How many did that sell? That did about 16,000 sales. At the current rate this is moving, I don't think that's going to get anywhere near. I think that's going to only do about 12 or 13,000 sales. No, maybe even less, to be honest. Maybe it just barely do 11. So look at all of these other recent large wood box skins that we've had, and well, as we look over to here, what do we see? Unfortunately, they're not doing super great. And then look at the ones from last year. Oh, not doing super great. But you've got Twitch drop there, you've got Twitch drop there, you've got Twitch drop there. How likely do you reckon we'll probably see some more Twitch drops that are large boxes this year? You do have to take that into consideration because, of course, why would people want to buy a large box if they can just get one for free? That's perfectly fine. That's why I think the likes of that Neon Snowflake large box kind of suffered with its sales, because we got that very cool looking glow-in-the-dark Twitchmas large box being given away for free during the same time that was on sale. So, yeah. But I did make reference to talking about the likes of this Neon Snowflake large box, because again, this was also a holiday-themed skin. And, well, currently, that is sitting at $2, which is a little bit, a little bit lower than the price it sold for. So it's actually doing quite good at the moment, to be honest. But yeah, it did go down. But maybe that might start going up in price because, from here and now, people will start anticipating investing into likes of Christmas skins. And I will talk about that a little bit later. I don't think we can really compare to this that much because people are more invested into likes of Christmas compared to the likes of Easter. So I can't help but assume this is going to probably struggle. But there is one more skin I could compare to, and that is the carrot storage that we had accepted quite some time back. So if I could just scroll down, here we go, scroll. There is a carrot box like 2 or 3 years ago. Where are we? Come on, it must be around here. How far back do I have to go? I must have passed it. So it's got to be around here somewhere. Where is the carrot box? Large carrot box. There it is. Okay, so it's down 31% at the moment. That's awkward. But let's just get a better look at it. See how it's behaved over the past couple years. So as you can see, this is got a whole bunch of carrots on it. This was a Easter skin, and if we go over to here to its past, it had some highs, some lows, had some highs, had some lows, up and then down. So yeah, loads of skins that are fairly old have behaved like this. We just looked at the Chick Door, we just looked at the likes of the small box, and now we're looking at this, and it had a pretty decent summer, and it goes down, and it's been down real bad. So, I don't know if we're going to replicate the exact same behaviour that we had last year, where that with the likes of that autumn fall seasonal dip, it just goes down. I'm really worried for it. But at the moment, we've just had Easter. Well, we've just had our first Easter Rush store. We haven't actually had Easter yet. And plus, I don't think we've had the worst of it yet, especially considering we're still expecting the likes of the 75% discount for the stickers for this tournament, the Counter-Strike 2 Copenhagen Major. So, at the end of the day, will that go below its Rush store price? I fully expect it, yes. But will it ever recover at some point? I'm conflicted, but I still lean more to the likelihood of no. But could we still put a decent price down, pick up a bunch of these for cheap, and flip them for a better price in the future? I could see that still, but we'll have to just wait and see. So for now, I want to leave that until Wednesday. It's an abnormal skin. We'll look at it, we'll think on it, and then we'll discuss what prices we might want to offer. Sounds good? Let's move on. Hatched Door. So, okay, look, goofy, silly, cute, fun, whatever you want to say, that's fine. But I'm not super enthusiastic about the likes of Sheepman Adores. So looking at the state of the Sheepman Adores that we've had so far this year, just take one good look, take it all in. Yep, that's not looking very pretty. That's very awkward. Now, I still think the likes of that's going to still have a bit of a turnaround. The Garage Door that was accepted last year behaved the exact same way, and once we hit the summer, suddenly the Garage Door last year was going all the way up to above $4. Maybe that can be the same case with that. And that only did 12,000 sales. Looking at the state of this Sheepman Adore over here, I don't see many Easter doors working out all right. However, there was one last year, and I do want to bring that up. It was the carrot one. There you go. So at some point, it was doing okay, and then it didn't. Exactly the same as this. So yeah, 2 doors last year, which are very good to compare to. We've already seen the likes of the Chick Door. Let's go ahead and take a look at the likes of this. So there's only 24 of them on the Steam market. Must point that out. And, after a few sales, it's back up to $2. What price did it sell for? It sold for $2.49. Oh no. Well, what about its history? How did that look? And well, initially, during the summer, it did go up. It went all the way up to about just under $3. Yep. And then after that, autumn fall seasonal dip, down, goes up a little bit for post-Christmas, then back down. However, recently, it has improved. But again, maybe for Easter, maybe. So, yeah, still, the idea from what we've learned from that is that we can still expect the likes of the Sheepman Adore here to suffer still. Now, number one, this also doesn't glow in the dark, so that's also a bit of a... I can't help but assume this is not going to work out very well. Like, if I were to go back even further in the past, have we had any Easter Sheepman Adores that didn't glow in the dark? That would be the the main thing that I want to look for. But as I scroll down more and more and more, I don't think we have had any. I can't remember. I know we've had wooden doors and whatnot. Oh, there you go, Happy Rabbit. I don't think we're going to be that bad. Look, that only did 9,000 sales. I do think the Sheepman Adore, the Hatch Door, will do better than that. Maybe. You know what? I think I'll just accept that this is going to be the likely outcome. People just don't seem to care about Easter. And, you know, that's got a big bunny on it. This has a big chick on it. I don't think it's going to work out all right. So, look, we've had this discussion quite recently with some sheepmen of doors that I just looked at and said, guys, I'm just not going to even bother doing a bile drilling it. And, yeah, I don't think it's going to work out well. So, personally speaking, I don't even think I want to put a bile drill in it. So, yeah, we could wait until Wednesday and look at it again. But even then, at the moment, awkward. Then we've got the likes of the Carrot Blaster. So, cool, we're getting really down low on sales, aren't we? 2 days in and only 4,500 bare minimum sales. Well, that's the state of the Easter skins. So, looking at this real quickly, in terms of its design, very cute, very perfectly fine for what it is. But unfortunately, it's well, I will sit here and ask you this: you see a bunny, he's got some carrots, he's growing carrots. Does that scream Easter to you? Now, if you're trying to make some connections and whatnot, yeah, of course, carrots and Easter and bunny, but maybe not. Look, it's Easter themed. You can't escape that. So I can't help but assume this is going to struggle a fair bit. Look, maybe some people just want to dress up like a bunny. Maybe we have furries and Rust. Who knows? Who knows? You know, let them live how they want to live. They just really like carrots. But anyway, I mean, it's a green, so it could be camouflage. No, I don't think it's going to be camouflage. But I don't know. It's so awkward. But it's definitely not going to be doing that many sales. So if we were to look at all the recent semi-automatic rifle skins that we've had recently, as we go over to here and take a good look, once it loads up, at your own pace. There you go. Right, the only SAR that's done all right recently is the Thundergold SAR, and that did not sell that much, but it did have like a collection behind it, you know, fully supporting it and whatnot. But oof, I remember the low poly SAR. That's already down to $1. Oh god. So yeah, I'm sorry guys, but it very likely might end up like this. Or maybe people do appreciate it. I don't know how many people like bunnies and carrots. Sorry, but it is going to be out of season soon, and I just don't think it's going to work out all right, I'm afraid. So that's also not abnormal. You're just going to have to look at that on Wednesday and consider, do I want to buy it or do I want to just stick with doing a buy order? Personally speaking, I'll just stick with doing a buy order. And it very likely might be a 60 cent to 80 cent buy order. So, yeah, just pointing that out. Then with the likes of Sun Art's very cute, cool-looking Happy Easter AR, I'm quite surprised this was allowed to say, you know, typically in most scenarios, Face Punch apparently don't like it when you have, like, writing on an actual skin. So that's saying Happy Easter. Maybe they're just being lenient, whatever. Cute bunny, got some Easter eggs, lots of nice flowers and whatnot, very colourful, very cute. Is it going to last? Is it going to be okay? So there's a multiple batch of problems here. Number one, we've had like 6 or 7 weeks in a row of having an AK-47 being in a Rust store. The point is that I'm pretty sure anyone who would have wanted an AK recently probably already bought one. So that's very likely contributed to the low sales. Also, people don't seem to care about Easter, so yeah. Will this ever have a turnaround in the future? Well, I can't really imagine it, but I feel like I'm starting to talk about this a little bit too early into this video, but I mean, we're 18 minutes in. All of these skins, if they sell far too low, you have to keep an eye on them, because in the future, they could be prime and ready for a manipulation. Yes. People who manipulate skins are always keeping an eye out, and typically, you should not be surprised. Holiday skins tend to not sell very much, and, well, normally, that's the best option to go for. So, what's a good example? I recall, not too long ago, well, it must have been about 2 years ago, so it's kind of a long time ago. I remember when we had the likes of the, what was it? Bone Breaker? What was it, Bone Breaker crossbow? Yeah. This was a Halloween skin, right? It did, how many sales? About 10,000. Back then, during that period of time, yeah. Oh, that was actually very recent. Well, either way, it did under 10,000 bare minimum sales, it seems. As I go look at its history, you might remember that this was manipulated, and I did talk about this in a video, but look at that. Look at that. So, I can't help but assume the likes of this AK-47 could be a target, but it's not something you can really rely upon. But if you were to buy them for a fairly cheap price and just hold on to them for a very long time, maybe it might work out into being something very interesting in the future. Maybe we get that guy who is trying to pump up the value of the Imperial Thompson returning. Who knows? We'll see. But anyway, with the likes of that, I think that's going to probably barely reach 8,000 sales. And, well, you got to keep an eye on these skins. Like, I did talk about this in my video, my Rustral rotation video. Some of the skins from last year, or one of them, I should say, the Stone Hatchet, was it week 1 or week 2? It was week 2. It got bought out, like, insanely. Now, it's gone back down in price now, but to see a buyout like that typically would imply that there's going to probably be another attack at some point in the near future, and then suddenly it goes all the way up in price, exactly like the Bonebreaker crossbow. So yeah, someone jumped in, bought out a significant chunk of them. I can't remember what position it was. The cheapest one was $9 at one point, but yeah, who knows, maybe something funny might happen in the future. So let's go back over to here. It's not a great thing to rely upon. I think I'm just going to have to move on. Guys, by default, and I'm very sad to say it, it's probably just going to be a 60 cent to 80 cent buy order, like most AKs, unfortunately. Right, now we look at the likes of the Easter hoodie and pants. Now, this is awkward because this is supposed to be Chocolate Easter, but yet again, Facepunch don't realise this is, certain skins are continuations, and they gave it a different name. And I can't help but assume people couldn't make the connection to the likes of this collection. And, well, now none of it's really gone up in price that much. One guy did point out, oh no, I invested into that, and I feel sorry for him. Just to point out, mate, if you're watching, I've got like 100 of these and 100 of these. I'm in the same boat. So, yeah, this, honestly, if they just called it Chocolate Easter, it could have made a world of difference. But people didn't make the connection, and this has hardly budged, and this is hardly selling. Only 3,500 each? So, yeah, that's not looking super great. Plus, I saw a wonderful comment. I can't remember where I saw it. It might have been the Rust subreddit. Someone looked at it and said, it looks like, well, a certain something you might find in your toilet with a bit of corn in it. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. It ain't chocolate. Anyway, so, is there any potential positive for that? Well, I did kind of briefly mention it, but, who knows what this new biome's going to be that's going to get released later this year. But if it happens to be an environment with like lots of dark browns, like maybe it could be a volcanic island with a lot of volcanic rock, which might be dark brown and whatnot, maybe that might prove to be pretty useful as camouflage. But that's a big what if, maybe. It's pure speculation, alright? So disregard that, honestly. I don't think that's going to be doing good at all in terms of investment, and personally speaking, I might not even bother doing a buy order, because certain hoodie and pants, if they get no love, they get super cheap, and I just probably will sit there and say maybe it's just best to avoid it. You saw the state that tier 2 armor. I don't want to go near it. Alright, shall we move on? Let's talk about the likes of the Chocolate Hunter MP5. Now, we did have an MP5 very recently. Well, we had two. Oil Spill. Now, Oil Spill seems to be doing perfectly fine, and again, maybe with that literally appearing the week before, with it doing about 18,000 bare minimum sales, maybe people didn't feel the need to go ahead and buy any more MP5s, so awkward timing. Good job, Facepunch. Look, I don't think it's going to be doing all right, I'm sorry to say. So, MP5s still haven't really recovered ever since we had the recoil update happen. Even though we've had some updates, some buffs, some changes, the skins still haven't recovered in terms of their prices. It's very unfortunate, but it is what it is. Whilst you've got a very useful aim sight right there, but not as good as that Apocalypse Nomad that we saw 2 weeks ago. And of course, H-Dune's MP5. I get the feeling people just don't care. But again, with very low sales, you've got to be prepared for something like that potentially being manipulated in the future. So just keep an eye on it. And again, you could pick it up for about 60 to 80 cents. Worst case scenario, you can turn it into metal and flip it. But maybe it might be something to hold on to, just to keep an eye on, because you never know what might happen in the future, as I said. And very, very unfortunately, with the likes of the Sweet Treat Burlap clothing here, they have not sold that much either. Now, with this being accepted, people did make the connection, and we did see the likes of both of these having a bit of a bump in demand and bump in price. Didn't last, though. They have gone back down again a bit, so that's awkward. But where's this going to end up at in terms of sales? Because we are very low, and at the current rate, I can't help but assume that this might struggle to even reach 7,000 sales. So let me just point this out to you. In terms of burlap clothing, in recent years, we don't get that much anymore. So if you're really itching for a very cheap and affordable burlap clothing set, at the moment, that's definitely going to end up potentially being the cheapest. Primitive skins do tend to work out quite alright. if we see continuations. But, well, there's a lot more of these compared to these at the moment, that's for sure. Plus, I have to sit here and ask, is this very Easter-themed in your eyes? Looking at that, if you were to see this, let's just imagine he doesn't have a basket. Would you sit there and say, oh, yeah, no, that's clearly Easter-themed? I don't think so. But it is goofy. It's a man made out of chocolate cream and waffles. I mean... But maybe some people would appreciate that and like it. Who knows? Who knows? But I don't think we're going to really see that much of a boost in demand until we see next year. Because I can't help but assume Duck's going to make another continuation of that. Who knows what could be next? A poncho? Yeah, you could do a poncho. You could probably do maybe some burlap shoes. Maybe some leather gloves. Who knows? I did speak with him. I think he did want to make more out of this. I think he was going to try and sneak in an extra skin, such as gloves or burlap shoes, or leather gloves. I can't remember, but I'm fully optimistic we will see some more again next year. But that's next year, and how likely is that going to suffer? Probably, most likely. But as I said, just to quickly point this out at the moment. In terms of overall sales, or bare minimum sales, I should say, where does this currently stand? It's currently like slightly above the middle. Will those sales give it any help? No, I don't know. It's awkward. You might sit and say, but Hedge, maybe you could use this as like desert camouflage. Maybe. And we don't have any well, you do have the likes of leopard skin, maybe. Oh well, and you got burlap bandit as well. Yeah, we'll see. So overall, just got to look at it on Wednesday, I'm afraid, and we'll make decisions. But I don't really think many of these skins are going to go over 10,000 sales. Probably only these two, and that's it. And I wouldn't be surprised if that is the case. So, yeah, that was a bit of a type of situation. Let's talk about the likes of the chicken costume. So, I've already talked about this. This is very likely going to go below its retail price. This is abnormal. It's a brand new abnormal item. It's a brand new item introduced and made by Face Punch, so by default it is abnormal. We can chase after that on the Wednesday night, but what prices are we going to offer? I've already made this connection. I said the best thing you could do is compare to the likes of the egg suit. Now, this is where I just kind of want to segue into talk about these other items as well. So, looking at the likes of the egg suit at the moment, it did rise up in price recently because they sold it at $8 in the Rush store. And again, as I've already mentioned, people saw this, and instead of buying it from the Rush store, they looked on the Steam market instead and bought out all the cheap egg suits. So, it did have a very nice rise in price. It did not last. So, as I said, when I first looked at that, my Rush store rotation video / stream, I said, guys, now's the time to sell. So, if you did that, congratulations. I don't know if it's going to go down even further because I am expecting a second week of Easter. I am expecting the next Rush store to be Easter. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, we shall see. It's been selling quite a lot and it's doing okay at the moment, better than what it was before. But yeah, if you sold during that period of time, good job. So where will this end up at, after Easter? It'll probably go back down in price again, I'm afraid. So, whilst it was interesting when it first appeared, plus, of course, it had that year between, 2022 to 2023, where there was only so many of them available, it had that mystique and interest, because, people were paying a lot of money for one of those. Not anymore, because, you can just buy it for a cheaper price. I don't expect that to retain the current price it's at. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes back down to about $5. And its history, its lifespan, how it's behaved with its price. Let's go over the past year. That'll do. Yeah. We'll go do that. This is what I expect for the likes of our chicken costume. It might be interesting initially, but as time goes on after the summer, oh no, it goes down. So lowest potential point, maybe around $4. And that's what I'll be doing in terms of my barter price for the likes of the chicken costume. Maybe chicken costume's more interesting than the egg suit. Maybe. Anyway, feel free to comment, feel free to say what you think. But I feel like I might just, play it safe. Maybe do like a $2 buy order, a $4 buy order, and I'll leave it at that. So that's going to be my approach. So seeing how that's behaved, how about these two? Did these do a decent, rise? Did they have a decent rise in price? Well, looking at the Nest hat, it did, and then it didn't. It went up and went down. That's a bit unfortunate, isn't it? But it's not too surprising. Once people got a whiff that this started to go up in price a fair bit, everybody started to sell. So that happened, and then we look at the likes of the bunny hat. Bunny hat didn't even really go up in price that much. So yeah, it went up, and it is. And it went up by how much? Maybe by like 15%, and that's it. Yeah. That's the state of the current situation. So, whilst we did see the rise in price with the reintroduction of the skin or the item at a higher price in the Rust store, it didn't really budge that much, I'm afraid. I get the feeling people don't care enough. That's a shame. So, with everything talked about in regards to Easter skins, now we need to talk more about the Easter dip and the potential opportunities. So, I have looked at many skins somewhat recently, and I have noticed that a lot of them, whilst they've gone down in price, have kind of stopped, stagnated. So Hamster Rock's always been a pretty good thing to take a look at, and I'll look at it again, because I do mention this in the likes of my recent Easter dip video. This right now is currently selling for just under $3. I look over to here with its recent sales, and if I could just hide liquidity. There you go. So since post-Christmas, it had been going down. It was going down, 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 down. Stops around the end of February, starts to go up a bit, go down a bit. Now it's kind of stagnating. I can't help but assume it's going to probably stagnate for a fairly longer time. Then, of course, you know, with the likes of the potential 75% discount with the capsules, with the stickers from the CS2 Major, maybe we'll see another dip for a brief period of time. But after that, I can't help but assume it's just going to slowly start gradually going up in price. And then we have summer, and then, you know, probably reach to a better price from then on. That's the expectation. How long will that last for? Maybe at best, maybe a month or two. And then it'll go back down again because autumn, fall, seasonal dip. So, yeah, that was a good representative for the skins at the current, you know, normal, regular, non-holiday themed skins. But, as I mentioned earlier, now, honestly, is the time where you might want to consider looking at the likes of Christmas skins. Yep, this early in the year. So, when we looked at the skins with the most recent Christmas batch, all the newest recent Christmas skins, I kept sitting here and I kept telling you, guys, these skins are going to go down in price and they're going to reach their new lowest price when we reach around March, April time. Guess what? It's March, April time. And all of these skins here, they went down in price. Remember how I made a massive fuss talking about this garage door? Well, it's literally matched to my expectation. It's gone down to $1. It's gone down to a third of its price. So looking at the state of this right now, as you can see, only 59 on the market on average. Every Rust skin on the Steam market tends to have about 100 quantity on average. But has it reached a point where it's not going down any further? Let's go ahead and take a look. And judging by what I see here, it looks like it. So maybe it might go down a little bit more. But how much will a little bit more be? Would it be like 5 cents or something? Who knows? But with the borders that we still see here, I don't think it's going to go any lower. So do you understand what I'm trying to imply here? This potentially might be the best time to jump in and grab a few. And again, yeah, it's a long-term investment. You're going to have to wait quite a long time until it's Christmas time again. And yet, last year's Christmas wasn't exactly super great, but there was that period of time where the skins were selling very good. So if I could just quickly point back over to here, Neon Snowflake Garage Door, that did good. That was selling for $4 at one point. And let's just quickly show that to you. And look at that steep drop. Whoa! But yeah, look at this. So from springtime to the summer to just before Christmas, it did good. It did good. But you know, as we expect, when Christmas is over, it's out of season, down. But look, it's reached its lowest point, it seems. It's not like going any lower. It's curved. And now it'll probably stay straight for a while and then it'll start going up in price, much like what it did during the summer last year. So now's the time to go around, take a look at all of those Christmas skins that did rather nicely with the previous Christmas and consider making some moves, consider, you know, making some nice investments. Because as we lead towards Christmas, during the likes of November and at the very beginning of December, you very likely might be able to sell them for a much better price. Considering that sold for $4 at one point, you know, just a few months back, even if it sold at $3, that's still a very nice profit to have if you're buying them for $1.30 each. So there you go. The choice is yours. And again, what else did very nicely? Well, Christmas Gang. We did get the jacket. Whilst it wasn't necessarily a continuation of the Christmas Gang set, it paired up greatly with it. So normally this always rises up to about $2.5 to $3. At the moment, these are selling for $1.50. If I were to see how it's currently performing, wow, that seems to be a new low price. Look at that. Whew. That, even if we only went up to about here, it's still a good jump up in profit. Not an insane profit, but again, if you don't expect an insane amount of profit, maybe just don't buy that many. Yes, I have a buy order here. That's been there for a very long time, don't worry. So, in regards to what we see here and here, there are opportunities, but you might want to consider, is it really worth it going super crazy and buying out a ton of them? Or maybe I just want to spread around all of my funds, in small increments across many different skins. And yeah, so I do that by default with my buy orders, as you can see. And, well, by time, when it's Christmas time, because I offer at a certain price, I always make a profit, regardless. It might not be a huge profit all the time, but it's still profit. And then if we hop over to here, we have the likes of the festive garlands as well. So I assumed that this would be going down in price pretty steeply, because I fully expected a whole bunch of these to be bought and, back during December when they were reintroduced. But it actually did quite all right initially. It was, it went down, but it went up, and it reached a very nice point around February. But it has kind of gone down again. But the main point I'm trying to get across here is it went down a fair bit, and it's stagnating at the moment. Is now a good time to jump in and buy some of these? Knowing that with the previous summers, last summer it did very well. TikTok videos definitely helped it out, plus a good YouTube video sitting there and saying, it's pay to win. So what about the previous summers? How did it perform back then? So yeah, you can kind of see it there in 2022, where it didn't really do much, and then it did much around August time. So do you reckon the likes of the festive garlands, with it currently selling at $5, could it do better? It's up to you. Maybe people don't feel the need to buy them anymore because with the new nightlight update, maybe they don't need the very helpful pay to win lighting that it gives for free. It's up to you. So I've kind of directed you to the idea of looking at all the skins, especially Christmas skins and whatnot. Only if you've got the money for it. Only if you've got the Steam wallet for it. If you're worried about like skins in general, you should always keep an eye on the likes of your buy orders. So yes, if you are expecting prices to go down, keep an eye on every single bar that you put down recently. So let's just go ahead and take a quick look. What if I took a look at the likes of, oh wow, look at this Skullforce Poncho. Apparently, I have the highest buy order. And do I want to keep that? I'm optimistic that we potentially could see a continuation, maybe not with the next Rush Door, but maybe for the April Force Wipe. So if you aren't fully well aware, if I quickly hop over to here, I will show you that Mr. Sean Mick has in fact produced the likes of a burlap shirt and pants, and yes, primitive skins. If you see a collection continuation, you should expect a nice bump in demand and bump in price. But do I want to be the one who potentially might get dumped on? Because let me just show you here, 96 cents buy order. Oh, it's a bit risky, but I think I'll keep it because I can't help but assume we will be seeing some continuations for Skullforce. And then, look at all of the other things. Look, I've got Kokloma here. What's that? So someone's got a higher bar than me, but what's the price currently looking like? Oh, doesn't want to show me. Thanks, Steam. You're working so well at the moment. And as we see over to here, it's not too bad. In my currency, it doesn't seem too bad. If I were to buy them at the price I'd be buying them for, I could still sell them and, make a profit. It doesn't seem too bad, so maybe I'll keep it for now. But yeah, you got to go double check everything. Just a quick check every now and then. Like, have you seen the state of flashbacks recently? They went down in price pretty hard. It's fun. It's unfortunate, but not too surprising. So as we can see over to here, this is currently selling for $1.69. But I will point this out. It was lower. It was lower. So we never saw the tier 3, which is, well, unfortunate. But it went down. And it's actually started to recover a fair bit. Maybe people are feeling optimistic that we might see it for the April Force Wipe. We shall see, we shall see. But yeah, if you're confused, I'm referring to the Flashbacks Tier 3, which many of us are really, really hoping for. If only. So yeah, that's basically it then, guys. I've said everything that needs to be said. Just endure another week of Easter, potentially. That's all I can really say. I will point this out. Skin creators are still putting out... Oh, no, over here. Skin creators are still putting out normal skins. I don't think they're supposed to do this, especially last week, for instance. If we do end up seeing Easter skins with the next Rush Door, I feel like everyone who put out a regular skin last week and whatnot probably wasted their time, which is quite unfortunate. And if you want to be able to see all the newer skins that were submitted last weekend, please consider watching my Rust Workshop skin checks, which is located just over to here. There we go. And don't forget, if you just want to skip ahead to all the collection continuations, look in the description, and as you can see, they're all on display right there. I do provide them, so that's cool. That's cool. All right then, so guys, that seems to be a wrap. I've said everything that needs to be said. Sorry if the Easter stuff was a fair bit rambly, but honestly, at the end of the day, I'm only really caring about the likes of the hammer. The other skins, whilst they could potentially work out quite all right in the future, due to the sheer lack of sales, it's just not really worth the risk. So we'll assess it again in a few days' time on Wednesday when we do the Abnormal Barter stream and, of course, the video. But, and let me point this out. I was very surprised to see so much clothing accepted, because out of everything that was submitted for the, the Easter batch, out of 130 skins, only 20 or so of them were clothing and armour. 80 plus was deplorables. If we do have a week 2, I can't help but assume it's going to be very, very, very deplorable heavy. Oh yes, I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest. So, if we don't have an Easter Rust door next, okay, that wouldn't surprise me, because with the amount of clothing we got, alright, fair enough. But imagine that, 80 plus deplorables submitted and only 2 of them were accepted. But we'll see. So with that, thank you very much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Catch you later. See you, goodbye.